exploration vessel, the Okeanos Explorer. We are at Ifuku Seamount, and we are actually hopping along from one waypoint to the other. Actually, we're going to be heading back down shortly. We don't like to head downhill with the ROV, so if it looks like we're going to go a little bit deeper, we come off of the bottom and then move out.
Okay.
Sort of be nice to have a down-looking camera, kind of like what Sirius has with the fisheye.
So there's a fish cruising around every once in a while. He's really speedy, and he's sort of silvery black and deep-bodied. And this is the first time we've seen this fish in the Marianas.
Oh, okay. Okay. That can look down.
Deepwater Pomfret family, Bramity. It is commercially valuable. In fact, it's one of my favorite fish here in Hawaii.
Okay. That's sort of a good.
And we haven't gotten a good enough look at it to nail down what genus it's in. But Bruce and I have got our eyes peeled, and perhaps Andrea too, to try to nail this guy down.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes out open for that. So we are on the bottom again.
So waypoint 3, if we really want to get there, is a bit to your right.
To my right. Okay.
Okay.
Working to my right.
I'm not sure that it really matters that we get specifically right
making
to it.
our way to waypoint 3. We are at 456 meters.
At least as far as the bathymetry is concerned, we're already at what should be a similar depth to it.
Yeah, that's correct, Nav.
I just need to get to a low point here so I can start up.
Okay, so we're going to proceed to a little bit lower point so we can start moving up. So Ifuku Seamount is actually not part of the Mariana Trench Marine National Monument, largely because it didn't appear to have active hydrothermal activity when it was first surveyed during a NOAA OER funded cruise in 2003.
Actually, the sonar is showing a.
But then during another OER, Ocean Exploration and Research from NOAA, their supported expedition in December 2014, there was some evidence for active hydrothermal venting that was discovered near the summit. Based on CTD's tows and casts. So as far as we know, there have never been any ROV dives that have ever been made on Ifuku Seamount.
Should I give it another move?
So
how long has that move been stopped?
What our goals are for this dive are to explore for hydrothermal vents and characterize any local chemosynthetic animal communities that we found, and so far we haven't seen any. We have seen some very interesting geology. Oh yeah, so we're looking at our oh wow, there is a wall right in front of us. Holy smokes.
Wow.
It's a big wall.
That's impressive.
Yes, it's impressive for sure.
I'm going to hold here until Sirius can catch up to me.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to hold.
Can I go ahead and give it the 20?
Hold here with the Deep Discoverer.
Might be more like 15 to catch up.
Till the Sirius vehicle catches up. And then we're going to work our way up this wall.
Yeah, have we finished that move? Could you redo another 20, please? Also bearing 325, 20 meters, 325.2 knots.
So we've collected 2 rock samples. One at the beginning of our dive, and then one at about 436 meters. So it was a different type of rock right up at the top of one of these spikes that Patty Fry was talking about. We also collected a bamboo coral, which looked quite unusual. Oh wow, this is this is quite a big vertical feature.
10 meters. Oh, that's not good, is it? There, 20. That's better.
So you can see it's kind of a bouldery, very rocky bottom, and then we've got this wall in front of us. The wall doesn't seem to be very high. It's it is quite sheer, but I think I can see the
Yeah,
top. Top of it just.
Sirius looks to be looking over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think the top of it is right in around there. But we'll know more in a minute when Sirius catches up and I can move forward.
Okay.
I'll go over and take a look at it right here anyway.
Okay, so this is a fairly large vertical structure here, but looks like we can get up and over. We're just waiting now for Sirius to catch up with us, and then we're going to move closer to this feature and get a closer look and see what's on the surface and get some get a closer look at the rocks. All of you rock hounds out there who are going to want an up close and personal view of the rock. This is a really interesting feature.
Yeah, waypoint 4 is just 20 meters ahead of you.
Yeah, it looks.
But I think you got to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So it does. Yeah, Deb Glickson was a geology science lead on leg 1 of this mission. And she says, is that horizontal bedding or grading? And I don't know. Deb, when I asked Patty, we saw some of these like horizontal lines before, and I asked Patty what they were, and she said it was, and again, I'm not sure it was the same feature. She said it was caused by scraping of the rocks.
Video, let's zoom in on this layering here.
Okay, can we get some description? I don't know if Bill Chadwick is back. I know he had to step out of the. Yeah, Deb says this isn't scraping. Bob Stern, are you on the line?
Should be just about at the end of our move.
Are you looking down at me yet, co-pilot?
We are at 465 meters.
Over you
okay,
now.
then I'm just going to work my way slowly up this wall.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Bob. I'm here.
Follow. Lead, rather.
I'm trying to get the image to come up. Let me take a look and I'll get back.
Okay, thanks, Bob. See some hydroids on that rock, a blue fish over to the right. David Butterfield says these look like ash deposits.
Yeah, the ship is stopped.
So it's not that old. Les Watling is asking if this was deposited underwater. So presumably it was deposited underwater, yeah. Looks more pebbly, grainy in here.
So, Nav, what's our bailout plan here between a cliff and a slope?
Well, right now our bailout direction is 110, which isn't crazy for this slope.
These look like submarine ash flow deposits that are sorted by size and layers.
Away from it or toward it? Yeah, it's.
I guess it's toward, yeah.
I think it's actually a reasonable thing right now.
Okay.
See some real.
You sort of prefer to be going either on the ship's heading or its reciprocal.
Okay.
Just because the ship's good at moving that way.
The ship is good at that.
So the ROV pilots are pilots and nav are
yeah, I think that's still
determining the best position to be as we move up this wall, this feature. So.
In an ideal world, you have the bailout direction be a direction where you've got completely unobstructed at the depth you're at.
Yes.
Which we don't have.
Right.
This is a two-vehicle system, so we have the Sirius vehicle, which is attached by a long tether to the ship, the Okeanos Explorer, and then the Deep Discoverer, from which you're seeing these beautiful videos, is attached to the Sirius vehicle. So it's a delicate dance we're doing to position the ship, the Sirius, and the Deep Discoverer. Okay, we are told that something very orange is about to come into view.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So.
Hi, Shirley. Bob here.
Hi, Bob.
So this is really superb bedded ash. So you see all of this layering. It's almost every time the volcano pulsed, there was another layer of this pyroclastic.
Pilot, it looks like that sticks out a bit over you.
Material
up another couple meters.
Submarine
I see that, yeah.
really
I see that in your picture.
poorly known, and this has got a really beautiful sequence of these deposits here. And again, it's a question of, I think the biologists can tell us how old this landscape is, because we know this is young, but whether it's 10 years,
could zoom in on Sirius, maybe see it a little better.
1,000 years. I think a biologist
if you want to.
has to say what that surface looks
yeah,
like
that's fine. Video, can we zoom a bit on Sirius HD?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. And we had this discussion at the beginning of the dive as well, because on the rocks at the beginning of the dive, we saw
I want to get that layer. That's very distinctive.
quite a few octocorals, and I think what we concluded was that it was at least decades old. But now there's been, as we've moved upslope, up into shallower areas, we've seen less settlement. We see typical early settlers like barnacles. So, to me, it looks like it's much younger. Scott, what do you think?
To me, it looks like your brow should clear that ledge.
All right. Okay. I don't hear a lot of geology conversations. So let's go full wide, and I'll keep coming up.
All right. Full wide.
Interesting to have the biologist chime in on how old
Yep.
I know it's tough, but boy, they're in a better position to do it than I am.
Yeah, I can tell you we're not seeing that much here. Although now, having just said that, it's like let's pan over to the
left.
Let me pan over to the left and see what those organisms are that are growing there.
Gonna have to zoom it from here, Tara.
Sure.
I can't get over
no
there.
No problem. That's fine.
That's fine.
Tilting
So
up.
we'll climb up the vertical wall.
There you go.
Yeah.
Down below it.
Yeah.
So this is a big collapse wall. Think of Vesuvius or Krakatoa.
Coming up.
Wow. And this is
in the Mediterranean is another good one.
Yeah, this is totally different than the more massive volcanic flows we saw about 30 minutes ago, when Patty was talking about that the sticky. I guess were there spikes? Oh, Patty, wait till Patty's back from lunch. Wait till you see this, Patty.
You gonna show her the red stripe?
What do we have here?
This big vertical feature, huge.
Oh.
Very different from what we saw a few minutes ago. Yep.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta get oriented here.
Thinking it's Bob Stern's on the line as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Patty.
Yes, Melissa there with you?
Oh yeah, she's watching news, getting depressed.
Okay.
So these are ash flow deposits.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure are. Look at the layering in there.
Oh, good. And Bill Chadwick is back too. Hey, Bill, take a look at this. Totally different from what we saw earlier.
Yeah, we're sitting on a dome. And this stuff.
For a few minutes, the last I saw, we were at the top of the dome or the cone. So
Yeah, me too.
did we jump over to the wall?
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
We're going up that ridge that's north of the cone. So the cone turned out to be a lava dome, right? And what Bob Stern was saying was this looks like, and it sure does, looks like layered ash deposits.
Patty?
In the wall of the crater, huh?
Looks like.
Like if we could have dug down through Ahi.
Yeah, go ahead, Survey One.
Patty, do you hear pilot?
Look at these beautiful rectilinear fractures.
So far, right?
Yeah, I've already told the team that we're ending early and changed the watch schedule around for that. I did also speak with the chief engineer a little bit.
In the last half hour.
Any what? I missed that.
No signs of hydrothermal venting in the last half hour?
Pilot, I
No.
wonder
No,
if,
Not at all.
Not at all.
we can point one of your swing arms up a bit to try to light above you and help me see what's coming.
Sure.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Absolutely.
Well, at this point, I think we're at the top.
Yeah, I don't.
So
Are we? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
The
Great.
layering looks graded to me. Looks like we have sequences of,
Yeah, there we go.
pulses of ash eruptions.
Yeah.
hey, Survey One.
With coarser material on the bottom, fining upward.
Yeah,
Just repeated layers of that
just
sort
wanted
of
to
thing.
mention the chief engineer's primary concern
Patty, do you
in our
have pilot?
discussions was actually that the
I
dive
have-
today
I
was
have
shorter
pilot
than he
on.
was expecting,
Okay.
and he
To
had to
listen.
change people around.
Ask Annie to show you the red stripe layer
So
that
he
we
hadn't
came up
heard, so he hadn't heard that. And it had been at least an hour since we
Pretty-
discussed it.
extremely red, extremely distinct stripe.
Just textbook, absolutely textbook.
Video. Can we
Okay,
go
we'll
back
do.
to
This is probably an hour ago at least.
CHD?
Anyway, but that was almost a good thing because
Of
it kind of
course.
glossed over the other issue.
Would it be possible to study that wall facing us there in the lower left?
Yes. Okay, so watch lead pilot.
Yes, go ahead, Watchley.
They'd like to get a closer look at the wall in the lower left, if we could, please.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Are you going back down the edge, pilot?
I'm just going to come around here to the left.
It's red.
Okay.
Don't
That
really
wall in front
intend
of
to
us
come
is okay,
down, but I am going to.
Yeah, that'll give us a sense of the layering, the sequences,
Maybe if you just a little more tether. More or
perhaps, of
less
the
right above you.
eruptions.
Yeah, and you wonder if anything's growing on it, too.
True. Could we have a bit more zoom on this as
Yeah,
we
let
go
me
down?
let me stabilize. a
Oh,
little bit,
okay,
and we
thank
can-
you, pilot.
Seem to be getting pushed down now. Interesting. Okay. Tara, can you zoom in?
Of course.
I'm getting too close and losing the light, so I have to back up a little bit.
Hi all,
Okay,
this
no,
is
you need
Casey.
any adjustments?
I just
There we
wanted
go.
to let you know about some changes that we are going to be doing today. So we had originally planned for today to be a 10-hour dive so that we could do water column work at the end of it. But we are not seeing any hydrothermal vent activity here. That's correct, right, Shirley? We
That's
haven't seen it
correct.
yet?
Yep, that's correct.
And the main objective of that work was to target some hydrothermal vents. So we did find evidence of potential hydrothermal activity on our site for tomorrow. So we will be cutting this dive short today and relocating the midwater work to tomorrow's dive. So we will go. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it right now on the telecon because we're not there yet, and you can't see all the data that's in front of us. But today, during our dive planning call, we will walk through everything that we see and let you know some of the situational parameters that we have for a dive tomorrow.
And what that means is that our dive planning call will be 2 hours earlier than I indicated on the email I sent out last night.
It'll be at 4:15.
4:15 local time. So
give me a second, and I'll get to the little chart.
No, so like basically that.
Did I just yank you by the toes?
Tower Hammer Luke, I think that's just a little bit after midnight for you, instead of after 2 o'clock in the morning.
So 4:15 for us is 6:15 in Honolulu. It is 2:15 in Guam and Saipan, and it is 12 midnight, just after midnight for
on the East Coast.
And it'll be around 9:15 for the Pacific Coast friends.
And a little after 11 for Scott.
Yeah.
And earlier for Osako.
Very early.
And very late for Tina.
So does anyone have any questions that they would like addressed now about this? Otherwise, we can talk more about it this evening.
It's a cobweb.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't expect to see
Hydroids. Are we seeing hydroids?
We were saying hydroids. We're saying.
I really want to know what that diaphanous.
Fine, you know what?
Web is.
Yeah, Les, did you have any ideas about what was causing that kind of that mesh web stuff?
Veil. It's just very, very fine veil.
It's not a cobweb?
Your entire port side, really, you might want to.
I don't see any tube worms on these rocks. Now, what is that thing in the middle? Is that more of the same stuff?
Yeah, that's more of that mesh. So I don't know if that's something that's.
It looks like it has more ribs or something in it.
Snap zoom.
We've seen a lot of it on these seamounts.
Yeah, that's true.
That sort of thing before, except in hydrothermal vent areas where there's a lot of.
Okay.
It's almost like a elevation house that's gotten
Bill.
clogged.
Oh.
And
my only guess is that it was maybe hydrothermally active in the past, and it's just a remnant of it. But
Do you think?
This doesn't really look like an old vent site or anything.
Yep. Yeah, we just don't know what it is.
So, can I say a few words about the project?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Should we talk about the next move?
So,
Sure.
look how strong these cliffs are.
I have a little bit to go to get to waypoint 4, right?
yeah, just 20 meters or so, it looks like.
All right.
I'm right over top of you.
Do you want to?
Okay.
You want to head that direction? It's 17 meters, bearing 290.
290. Okay.
Almost certainly that
Yep,
was
I'll
the
just
same,
follow the edge of this
water depth in this
ridge
direction
here.
happened.
Let me get
Move
pointed.
the ship that direction, 20 meters.
Hot enough
Yeah, because it looks like we're going to turn there, so
400 degrees.
that's a good idea.
500, we don't know exactly.
There is
really
something in
hot.
my sonar in that direction.
How far out is it?
Off to the left. How big is that?
Well, from my height, it's 25 meters from me, but I'm maybe 20 meters above here. So actually, I think I'm seeing it in your camera right now.
Maybe we should just go 15.
That layering just stands up so strongly.
Certainly does.
15 sounds good to me.
Bridge
So you
nav.
can follow that to hydrothermal vent.
I'd like to do a move 15 meters, bearing 290, 0.2 knots.
Don't know when we started ascending this thing, Bob. We don't have bathymetry that gives us that fine a scale. Need to come out here with Sentry or something and tool around in this crater.
What are the contours on the map on the quad screen? Because we come up a couple contours at least.
Okay, the contours are 10 meters apart.
Go ahead, Washley.
So 20 meter cliff?
So maybe 30 meters above
Good question. I don't really. I didn't.
Our waypoint
I could
4
try
is
to-
probably 30 meters
We
above
could definitely
waypoint
reconstruct
3.
it from our from the recorded
If the
data,
contours are 10 meters
but I
apart.
didn't really pay enough attention. Now, I guess it was 20 or 30 meters.
Well, it looks to me like, that's cool. It looks to me like this ash is older than the dome, because the dome is in a collapse that these ash deposits, these pyroclastics don't seem to be knowing about. They seem to be, paying attention to the slope we're on right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. The stuff that was exposed in the lower part of the dome, you could actually see fresh gray surface, and you could see plagioclase, phenocryst very well outlined in exposures. Some of the surface of the dome material was kind of reddish, but a little bit lower down, when we first started going up some of the spires that were sticking up out of the dome, you could really see into the rock, and it looked really fresh.
So it's interesting, because this is an older
Watch, are you still listening?
more of a desert than the
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't
interesting.
30 meters,
Yep.
but 15 or 20 would be
Maybe
a better guess,
because
I
a
think.
lot of the bed-thick animals can't stick themselves to such friable stuff.
What's that? To the left.
No problem.
Tara, take a zoom on
Pilot,
that.
if we could take a good look at that thing, yes.
The
Thank
anemone?
you. Ooh, it is an anemone. Beautiful.
The anemone.
Watch leader, are you going to want better imagery than this, or is this adequate?
This is good.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen this one yet.
I'm not.
So I think someone was asking before how high that feature was, the vertical feature, and was I think about 15 or 20 meters. We're trying to reconstruct it.
Just from the bathymetry alone, between waypoint 3
Pull wide
and
enough, try and
waypoint
get a
4,
toehold somewhere.
Okay, Roger.
Now, are we getting
we
to the
have
end of the
30
slope?
meters of elevation. But the structure itself, I'm not sure. Could be less than that.
Can't be more than that.
It's a little out of the
Now,
light.
are we near the end of this move?
So it looks
think
from
so.
the
Sorry, I
sonar
haven't,
from the ROV
Paid
as
enough attention. We are
if we are
we must
right
be
on
getting
the
very
edge
close.
I
Yes.
see maybe 3 more meters.
of the
Okay.
wall of that ridge
We're good here.
that we saw in the dive planning discussion that dominates
Okay,
the
Tara.
side of the cone that we're climbing up,
Directly above
which
you.
is toward the summit,
Copy that,
the
Dave.
overall summit of the seamount that we're on.
Okay, so Chris Kelly says that this anemone looks very similar to the actinid Dolphinia. Or, yeah, wow. So very different from the one we saw earlier.
Yeah, very. Many fewer arms, and
But still on multiples of 6.
still in multiples of 6, and a shorter trunk or shorter body.
So we're going to have Asako sit there and count them. She's really good at counting
Yeah,
things.
we wanted
Just
her to-
kidding, Asako.
We wanted you to count the ones on the one we saw before. which
just
had,
kidding.
you know,
She'll come back to us in a couple minutes with all of with a number of tentacles. Just kidding.
So, this
Yeah, Chris.
is similar, although I'm not certain it's in the genus Dolphinia. But Daphne Fountain, who some of you may know, is sort of
yeah.
one of the world's authorities on anemones,
Okay.
took a look at something similar that we have in the Central
Pilot,
Pacific,
have another hard
and I
right
identified
behind
it
this one,
as
which I
that
think I can
genus.
see
And
that
she
now.
remarked
Okay.
that one of the
Picking up
diagnostic
and,
characters is that it loses
going
its
up number.
tentacles very, very easily, and a lot of times you don't find them intact, like this one was. So not sure what to think about that on this particular specimen, but the
waypoint 5
tentacles
is
themselves look very,
northeast of
very
this.
similar, and the overall characteristics of the anemone look very similar to that species or that
Okay.
genus.
So, Chris, do you think the fact that the
not
tentacles are lost
sure.
is just a reflection of what happens after you collect it, or has she
Not sure we
seen
need to
them
pay too much
actually
attention
in
to it, but
place
that was
with
based on-
tentacles that have sloughed off?
with imagery that may not be as detailed as what we can see here.
Pictures of them in
Following this little ridge.
On them, and they may get picked off by fish or some other predator.
Pilot, can we zoom in on that material suspended from the bottom of that rock in front of us?
Go ahead, Tara. Let's do the partials in right there.
So Shirley, what do you think this stuff is?
I don't know. This is some of that
tissue.
Yeah, spider webby stuff. I think I'm trying to go back into the event, the chat log, but because I think that Les said something earlier, Les Watling said something earlier that it might be produced by something else that he saw on that crevice, but I don't really, this was much earlier on the dive, but I don't see
So you prefer to
anything
return left and right, basically?
there right now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we can resolve that later too, of course, but...
Okay.
We have some fish over to the left.
Yes. Yep. If we could take a look at those fish, that'd be nice. There are two of them.
Partial zoom.
They look similar. Oh,
So
Bruce,
actually,
are you the
I'll change what I'm saying, because there seems
Tell
to
us
be a
what
lot more
this is,
structure
Bruce.
off to our right.
Oh, look at the staining.
Well,
Oh, is that a vent
Yeah,
right
I'll
there?
see them in a moment when our screen comes
Right.
up.
Is that a vent?
We can check it out. Let's take a
Well,
zoom
we are
once we
also
have-
wondering about the discoloration
Wait, is
on the
On that
rock
rock,
surface
too,
in front of
yeah.
us, and as to whether or not the hole beneath might be a vent, or the area might be producing warm fluids.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So as we
Yeah,
mosey
because
over
you're seeing
there,
a lot of
maybe
that
you can
stringy
see it.
stuff.
I don't obviously.
There is
Could
a
be
lot of that
bacterial,
stringy
yeah, which could be bacterial.
Yeah, Pilot, if we could eventually, when you're ready, get a close view on that discoloration there. And if our videographers see any shimmering water, that would be helpful. Shirley and I are standing about 8 feet away from the video screen, so we can't always see shimmering water as soon as the videographers can. And they're also really used to using this imagery.
I
don't see anything.
that looks
Okay.
like active
We'll
venting.
get a close look at this.
I don't either.
Can you zoom in on
Bill.
this color?
It does look like something's precipitated out on some of the surface here, though, to cause these different colors.
And
Hydroids.
little branches, yeah, possibly hydroids. So we've been having a chat room discussion about this webby, what you were calling this diaphanous
This sort
stuff.
of
Yeah,
spider webby junk.
it might just be bacteria. Scott Franz said that we see it, these webby tufts in many places around the world, but we're still not certain what it is. It could be mucus bound with detritus, bacterial origin, molluscan.
Okay, full wide.
Don't know. The ocean has many mysteries.
So it is kind of interesting that we're seeing this discoloration there that's more reminiscent of the types of rocks that we see closer to vents.
Yeah, but this sort of material
All
doesn't
around it,
usually,
yeah, it's not
flows
associated
like this.
with
No,
it. Yeah.
Don't usually see vents on this kind of seafloor.
Pretty common to see discoloration in temporal deposits like this.
Okay.
Yeah, Pilot, so if we could just keep on moving up.
All right. Moving on up.
Yep, except for the fact that there's a fish.
Wait, there's somebody talking.
So we are supposed to be making our way more north and even east of north, as opposed to west, which is the way we're pointing. I don't know quite what to suggest. It doesn't seem like...
Well, I can sidle along.
Well, I'm sort of curious what... I mean, we even just look to the right.
Yeah.
So these little fish that we're seeing are the deep sea cardinal fish, Epigonus.
Okay.
Bluish ones. They do like
We should ask the watch leads.
to vertical surfaces, areas with high relief.
Well, actually, we're sort of wondering about our direction here. We're sort of following our nose up this ridge, even though the waypoint we're supposed to head for is off to the right.
Vertical walls, and they'll even swim upside down if they're in areas with overhang.
Bump in your forward.
Do you want us to
care about the orientation,
follow our noses, or
as long as they're orienting
try to go
towards,
find that waypoint?
the substrate?
I don't know if you want to check that out or not.
I'm not sure that's right.
Well, the bathymetry shows X actually is the next point on the crest.
Waypoint 5 is the next one.
Yes,
We haven't gotten to waypoint 5.
that's true. But waypoint 6 would keep us on the crest of the ridge,
Oh, as shown here. So,
as shown on the bathymetry.
So if we follow our noses, it looks like maybe we would go up
to
where we're going, and then
to waypoint 5.
and then ignoring waypoint 5. If we continue the way we're going, it's
So for those of you
conceivable
on the phone, watch lead. Geologist Patty is having a discussion
will then
with,
hang a right up to waypoint 6.
with the navigator about the direction of our dive track.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Pilot, I have a hard return on Sirius 12.5 meters away, which is much closer than I am to the bottom. Let's see if I can find it on my camera.
I mean, unless we think this is a dead end, it's going to suddenly be a spire that we
You taking a look at the
don't know what to do with.
temperature data there?
Which I don't
No,
think
I
there's
don't
any
think it's
reason
a
to think
spire.
that. So,
Well,
Yeah,
0.2. It's not a huge
deposit draping the slope of the cone.
yeah. Okay, so you're okay with us continuing the way we're going?
I am. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, northwest it is.
Oh, here we go.
For
There it's
now.
going. It's going up.
Yeah.
Hey, watch lead pilot.
Go ahead, watch lead.
Pilot.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, one of
watching
you.
the temperature rise here
I
as
see
I go
that,
back
yeah.
over this
Oh, interesting.
this opening. Co-pilot noticed that it was going up. What's the temperature there now?
It's about 11.5 on.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not-
seeing,
really not sure
folks
which
on
is
shore,
which.
we are seeing, if you look at the quad screen, we're seeing
Okay.
the temperature going up
Both
in
I
this
see.
area.
Sirius is higher. Sirius is actually higher.
Oh, he's looking at the temp probes
Explain
on
those
Oh.
curves.
the ROV right now.
Which?
Okay, so
one of the
the
temp probes is right up.
Yeah.
so the blue line is. Oh no, wait. Let me see.
I'm
So
not
these are
really
seeing
sure
both of
which is
them are
which
going
at
up.
this point.
Yeah.
So it's warm here, folks.
Yeah, so this is there is thermal activity right here.
So it is possible that staining we saw on the rocks is a result of some warm water coming out through these deposits.
Okay, so are we looking at on this? Say again. I can't hear what you said.
What's the scale on the temperature plot?
Okay, they're looking
Well.
at the quad screen. I think that the ROV videographer can put the extended screen on one of your choices
One of your feeds.
for viewing. Yeah, one of your feeds. The temperature that we're seeing, the max temperature is 11.5 degrees C, and the scale at the bottom is 11.25, and it goes up to 11.55. So that is a 0.5 division between
Yeah,
each
not
of the
very much.
numbers that you see. So
watch
it's just very
the
slightly.
co-pilot, I'd say call it 0.2 above ambient.
0.2 above the ambient right now is what our co-pilot said the temperature is. So it's just very slightly warmer, but in general, the seafloor is, well, the water column is warmer here.
Are we looking at?
I'm thinking
Is that the probe on D2 or on Sirius?
Yes,
Is that,
this graph is the
is on,
Both probes are
on the front
is
of
on D2. Okay.
One of them is
'Cause
the
somebody-
one we can grab with the arm, and the other is right near the center of D2.
Okay.
Kind of used as a reference.
Somebody mentioned earlier that we were looking at temperature from Sirius, so I just wanted to make sure.
We
Nope.
also have a CTD on Sirius.
Okay, great, thanks.
Which is actually higher.
Yeah.
It's almost 13.
okay. Shall we
So we're
move
continuing
up?
up the ridge. Up the ridge. Here
Yes,
we
up
go.
the ridge.
Right. Moving up the ridge.
Moving up the ridge. Okay. Lots of nice layering in this ash.
Clear to follow our noses. Are you, should we be thinking about a serious move, or maybe a little early yet?
Maybe not quite yet. He is getting out in front of me a little bit. But
Dave, you said you had a hard return.
I do have a hard return on my sonar. Yeah, actually, if you keep climbing, you should see it.
Yeah, sonar. Tell us what you're seeing on the sonar, Patty.
On the quad screen on the sonar, we're seeing ridges extending up in the middle of the upper right quadrant.
Doesn't that look?
We are looking at the basically the fractured ash deposits separating away from the main part of the ridge as we climb up to shallower levels here.
And all that stuff that's kind of draping off are just those stringy, probably bacterial mats or mucus mats.
And we're seeing nice layering that's dipping down toward the lower left. And this ash is draping the southeast wall of the summit cone of this volcano. The layering can indicate individual pulses of eruption, or just material being spewed out episodically from a volcano that's erupting in pulses. You can see a lot of fish in the cracks that are right in front of us. Can we get a zoom on any of these fish, pilot?
Sure.
We're seeing some prop wash. Propellers are causing some turbulence on the right-hand side of the screen and blowing some of these filaments away toward the left.
Patty, this is Scott. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, Scott.
Okay, Tom.
I'm wondering, this ash layer, would it be less consolidated than the material we saw on that dome down below? That is, it would erode more easily, and is that one of the reasons why there's fewer sessilfauna, possibly?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's for sure.
Doesn't look too tall.
So that's what I was saying when Bob made a comment about we're seeing fewer corals and things. I don't think that they can get a good purchase on any of this material as we zoom in to look at the fish. Yeah, we could see that the material itself is very fine-grained. But let's see what the fish are.
Deep-sea cardinal fish. Bruce is saying deep-sea cardinal fish, but the species are too difficult to identify without specimens. So Epigonus, but so we know that that's the genus, but
1185 rather.
Okay.
Can't ID a species.
Let's go full wide, please. Thank you.
Yeah, and these ash deposits are really easily eroded, especially on a steep slope like this. So a relatively unstable environment compared to the solid lava that we saw.
Well, I might be seeing some shimmering in my Sirius HD view of you. Not sure if it's
So this guy's a cardinal fish too, I presume. Bruce will be seeing it in about 5 or 10 seconds.
Snap soon.
And it has a real little one next to it.
Hold that.
Oh, a whole bunch of small ones with it.
going back down.
Okay.
Yeah, so as
in
we're
that last
seeing,
picture
these
of
can
the
be
fish, there was a lot
extremely
of shimmering in
abundant
the
at
picture of
these
the fish.
depths. If you get into the right sort of habitat with a lot of vertical relief, but also holes in the walls for the fish to hide in if a larger predator comes by. So they're one of the dominant smaller fishes in here and could serve as forage for larger piscivorous fish. The Epigonus are probably planktivores or feed on small animals in the plankton drifting by.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, people keep discovering new species of these around the Pacific. I think the last one was described about a year and a half ago or so. Interestingly, most of them are deep water, but people doing diving in caves in Palau have found them at recreational diving depths of 130 feet or so back in caves. That's a little bit of technical diving specialty in itself, not something that most people do. But back in the dark of caves and shallow water of Palau, they've gotten some new species of these.
Oh, I bet that's beautiful. Wow, some of the material in this layer is really coarse, big blocks.
I think we've come up another.
So we're at a depth of 425 meters.
We were at waypoint.
Yep.
3. And it's been almost vertical.
Very steep slopes here. I'm kind of amazed that this material can sustain such steep slopes. And I'm wondering what the white patch is up here on the upper right around some of these larger blocks.
Looks like a little bit of concrete. Oh, and a crab.
That might be a sea star.
Oh. I heard sea star, and I think it is one of those that has the little pom-poms along its arms. If we could zoom in, that'd be great. I think this is the sea star that we will hear about
12 degrees
from Dr. Ma at the Smithsonian. If he's watching,
first here's the white
call
stuff.
in and tell us how exciting this
It
is.
does look like somebody spilled some concrete.
The white stuff that we're looking at right now on the screen looks like it could be hydrothermal staining. So warm water's coming out. Maybe a little microbial growth on the surface of the rocks here.
Okay.
The red dots are laser beams, and they're 10 centimeters apart.
I'll tilt up to the sea star.
And let's go look at that sea star. Right. There he is. We have seen this guy in a couple of dives now.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, beautiful guy. Wow. Love the way they sort of
I'm going to try and fly this. Just
fit themselves into the crevices.
You're at a peak here.
Okay.
Just this huge spire.
Now, we've been hearing about this sea star for a couple dives now. And the bulbs on the tops of the arms of the sea star have stinging cells in them to ward off predators.
There's some shimmering in the water.
I see it too.
Yep,
Anybody on shore want to make a comment about this critter?
Can't be too bad, or the sea star would.
If you're comfortable, I could do a bit more.
Doesn't look like he'd be
Sure,
good
go
to
ahead.
eat.
Ha!
Okay.
Oh, this is the one with the little.
By
fuzzy
anything, right?
Right.
Oh, wow. The texture totally changes when you zoom in a little more.
Because they knew I was coming.
Oh, this is just a beautiful picture. Wonderful imagery. And I think there was someone who said they wanted to say something about this. Was that, who was that?
Hi, so this is Chris Ma from Washington, D.C.
I knew you would call in.
Indeed. Yes, I'm always happy to be drawn out.
Oh, good.
So
yeah.
Yes, this is indeed Coronaster, which is this sort of multi-armed sea star.
Not a good place to perch.
Throughout the Indo-Pacific. And
so I think we are at the top of the pinnacle.
We are, and there's another one
they tend to have
bearing maybe 315 from here, 15 meters away.
I'm now seeing the really tight shot. You can literally see all of these little batteries of claws arranged around the spine. And so these, if you look at these under a scanning electron microscope, each one of these all these little white elements are composed of sort of like two pieces that form kind of like a wrench.
and each one of these pieces has really big, nasty jaws
go
on
for
it.
it.
And so sometimes those jaws are in sort of, it's thought, either defensive or possibly, the opposite. They're predatory. They're used to defend against something. What I find fascinating about every video shot that we've seen so far of this species is that they're always jumbled up like this, and they're always kind of tucked across the crevice. And that's something that we had just not seen before, and it's now becoming pretty consistent. I think this is maybe the fourth or fifth one that we've seen, and the disc is always kind of...
Watch Leads Co-Pilot, we're up to about 12.2 degrees
and the
now,
arms
and you
are
can
kind
see
of
some
all
shimmering
jumbled with all of
HD
the
camera.
pedicellarian batteries sort of advanced outward.
Just a little bit.
It's moves
it's
at some other time, and when
1
it's
degree
resting
above
like
ambient,
it seems to be now,
it's not too hot.
these arms just present all of these sort of defensive structures out against, the exterior to prevent potential predators from picking on them. But my goodness, that is just a gorgeous. It's just so beautiful to watch these things so close up. Usually, and those spines are quite sharp. I've been nailed by these.
Oh, ouch!
In buckets. Yeah. Oh no, they're. I mean, like through gloves. They're not poisonous.
Okay.
But,
I'm gonna come out for
they can be surprisingly sharp.
Ooh.
But it's really fascinating to me how consistently, they're kind of arranged like this. And like I said, I haven't really been able to get a good count of the number of arms, not so much because of the quality of the video, but because I've been having difficulty making out how many arms there are in these things.
Right.
Because, they're seen in the tropical Atlantic, but they're usually splayed out, and you can see them. And in New Zealand, there are as few as 6 arms, but this is one of probably 3 possible species, and they tend to have between, anywhere between 7 to 15
Pilot, check
arms.
out your D2 sonar.
I honestly can't tell sort of how many this one has.
I would think we want to head for that bright spot.
I'm also having difficulty trying to figure out where exactly the disc is.
Yes.
But the fact that
looks like it's the same thing that we're seeing on Sirius like straight ahead.
Is really significant as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I'm glad that you said the same thing about this, because every single one that we've seen has been all jumbled up.
Yeah, very contorted,
not splayed out at all.
You can't tell one arm from another. How could you count them?
Yeah. Chris Kelly showed me once a picture of another Coronaster
So it'd be off to the left?
from a
to the right.
drive-by picture.
Right.
Are we concerned with our wraps?
I don't know, 10 to 20 years ago. And there was a bunch of them huddled together, apparently in spawning position. And ever since then, that's been like one of my
holy grail
moments, to be able to see, a whole
bring him up to
aggregation of
0.6
these things
maybe.
doing whatever it is they were doing in that picture. Because,
just got a
back
request
then
for
they wouldn't stop
like
for
a sea
these things.
cucumber
They were
up
just
here.
going on to do what they were doing. And they probably saw, this, that's kind of weird.
Color was it?
And
Watch
then
it.
they just kind of moved on. And it's also significant to me that every one of these that we've seen so far has been solitary. So, there are
tireless and
mysteries
partial
that
looking for a sea cucumber
and,
here.
and things that I think,
Saw
are
a
out
shrimp.
there, but that I look forward
Fish.
possibly someday to seeing.
White thing to the left of the big rock.
Thank you very much for
on the side of the rock there.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
We're gonna fly this one again, Tyler.
Okay, we're going to go look at this.
Okay, ready?
This critter. There's a critter on a rock.
Okay, hold that.
Holding.
This white guy. Ooh, I see things moving.
Okay,
And there's a squat lobster under the rock to the upper left. But what is this thing on the rock? Oh, we're looking down at the people who are
Looks more
writing
like
in.
tentacles on there. Like
Yeah.
it might. Is it an anemone? No.
No, I don't think that's a. Sorry. What do I know? But I don't think it's an anemone.
What is that?
Mind if I take a bit more zoom?
Please.
Sure,
Yeah, please, yeah, go ahead and zoom in.
On what phylum it belongs in.
Yeah, we're having that.
I'm guessing it's an animal.
Go full wide.
It's not a rock.
Okay, so we got the kingdom right.
That was a strange little beastie.
We're going to go back in and get a closer look at it.
Yeah.
I think this is a gastropod, a shellless gastropod, and I remember the group. I'll have to look it up, but the same group that has the sea hares in it, I think.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of surprising. Let's take a look at that.
Indeed. I would recommend we do not.
You're leaning towards nudibranch. That's what they're saying. They're leaning towards nudibranch.
I would recommend we do not pick up the rocket some because all the rest of that stuff's going to fall down on us.
Sure, it'll be giant Jenga.
Ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump. Ooh, let's take a look.
Dave, we tilt my camera
Ooh, isn't it pretty? Look at, wow, you know what?
Tilt it a little bit.
I don't know.
I
kind of, sort of.
Go ahead, Tara.
It's got little
See,
bulbs
like it's got
with,
like kind of at the end.
It's a bulbous thing.
I'm going to hold unless you want.
That is a really weird looking animal.
There's a fair bit of shimmering too.
Yeah.
Well, the water is a little bit
frozen.
warmer here on the quad screen. You can see as we've come up, it's gotten a bit warmer here. But there's also prop wash.
I just don't want us
Oh,
to
that little squat
closer,
lobster does not want to be in the way. Doesn't like the paparazzi.
I'm sticking with anemone. Sorry. Definitely a nudibranch has gills.
Okay, where?
Yeah, there they are.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, down at the bottom.
Those two thicker things sticking out, are those gills? Those are gills.
Down
Can
there.
you zoom on the gills, or is that it?
It has something right in the middle.
That's it.
It's nice.
I see two little black dots right in the middle. What are they?
There you go.
Oh,
I see one or two little black dots.
Head downward.
Golly.
Go downward a little bit.
Oh man, this is going to be tough to image.
There we go. There we go.
There's some sort of structure right in the center of the top of this thing.
Oh boy. You guys on shore are pretty darn good.
Jeff,
Look
do you want
at
me to
that.
make these
We have an
fun
awful lot of suggestions
tilt
here,
adjustments,
folks.
Or do you want to do it with the vehicle?
This is so much
I'd
fun.
prefer for you to do that.
Okay.
Stump the
It
biologist.
was upside down.
Myself.
Oh, now wait a
Spacing
minute.
down.
It can face whatever way it wants.
Oh, very cool.
It is beautiful.
Okay, pull wide.
Thank you. That was fun.
Oh wait, are we gonna try and get anything? Can we get?
Oh,
you want more? You want more video of this?
Does somebody want more video
Yes.
of it?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
We do want to look again. What people on shore are wondering about is right in the center of it, there looked like to be some sort of structure. And Tina Molitsova is saying, oh, this flower in the middle, absolutely nudibranch. Fascinating when you get down here.
Gosh,
now, every time you zoom in, you see something totally bizarre. Rocks are so much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, and there they go. Yes, this is a very friable and rubbly surface we're approaching, which has a little bit of an overhang. We don't want to dump it all on our sample boxes. Although then we could bring it back to the surface, have extra rocks.
Well.
Oh, and now we have a cloud of dust covering the critter. The red glowing stripes you see are from our laser beams that give us a scale, and the distance between the dots is 10 centimeters.
Looking up too much. But
about
it's under the rock
inches.
a little bit.
But we had good light before.
So that's what we use to measure critters
Oh, okay.
and other features on the
Now I'm in
seafloor when we're
closer.
zooming
Yeah,
in.
yeah. You need to
Tara, do what you can.
need a light we can turn on right by the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Is there
lighting
anything I can
lighting
do
is
with
pretty
light
bad
bars to
right
help?
here. Hi,
No,
Bob.
because it's coming down from above. Nah.
I'm getting
Maybe port
closer
lower.
as you get closer to the vent.
It certainly is getting coarser up here, yeah.
Turn the port lower to the right, see if that helps.
Okay. I don't have hydraulics running, so it'll take me a
I don't
minute.
know if folks heard Bob Stern from shore, but he was suggesting that the fact that things are much coarser up here, the rubble that we're seeing is coarser, larger grain, so he's suggesting that's closer to the vent. That certainly is what we might expect to see.
Port lower swing arm right. Enabling valve pack and go.
Oh, there's some light.
Good call, Dave.
Is that good there? Or should I try
That's
more?
very
I
nice.
also still have your camera.
Great.
Very nice.
Tilt down and move
Beautiful.
it.
Wow.
And if it could be
gosh.
centered, I do see something in the center of the top, or the
If
the
it
middle
could be
of
centered.
the
Sort of
blobs.
little feathery structures.
Yep.